Hi guys, we're on to our fourth lesson in week 5, our second lesson on informative writing. All right, so let's review what we learned yesterday in our other lesson. Informative text use subheadings as an important feature to separate ideas. So we really focused on understanding the importance of subheadings yesterday with our jumbled report, as well as writing in the subheadings that could be used on the text on chameleons. Topic-specific vocabulary is important when writing an informative text, and when you've been completing your Hunt the Text activity, you've probably been using some subject-specific or topic-specific vocabulary as you've been doing that, so hopefully you're beginning to understand that. And informative texts can help you find out information quickly about a topic. So those texts we've been looking at are shorter style, and hunting the text, you're probably getting a good understanding of them quite quickly. So an informative text is a really good way to quickly access information about a topic. All right, guys, so now that we've been developing our skills, we're going to start to move into practicing, summarizing, and paraphrasing to help us get ready for when we are writing our own informative text and we need to conduct research. So when we're needing to conduct research, we're going to have to use our skills of summarizing and paraphrasing to do this. I have a short video here that I'd like you to go and access and watch before going on to the next slide. I did try in a previous video playing it and it didn't sync up and work. So if you could take the time to click on the link and watch this video about summarizing, that would be really good before you move on to the next part of this video and the next slide. So what is summarizing? And I guess if you weren't able to watch the video in the previous slide or the previous part of this video, it's fine because we are going to talk about what summarizing is here anyway. So summarizing, a summary is a short version of a text that includes only the main points. To summarize means to sum up what has been read. This involves deciding which information is important and which is not. When summarizing, you need to be brutal, which means you need to cull as much. Some very interesting facts can be unimportant to the main point. So what is a summary? It may help you to think of summaries like this. If a text had to fit onto a sticky note, a post-it note, what would be included? So it's about making a longer text really, really shorter. If you had 10 seconds to share the information with your friend, what would you include or say? And can you answer questions starting which each of these question words? They will help you identify the key points being made. So who, what, when, where, why, and how. All right, so let's have a little further look at what summarizing is. So a good summary is short, uses your own words, doesn't change the meaning of the text, and includes only the main points. You can remember this by thinking of SUM. So short, uses your own words, main points. SUM, the acronym SUM. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at this piece of writing at the top here, and then I want you to think about which one of these 4 is the best summary of the text above. So you can pause the video and read this in your head and then read the summaries of the text below and decide which one you think is best. And I'm also going to read them aloud, but if you don't want to listen to me read them aloud, you could pause it and read them yourself and then skip to the next part of the video when you're ready, or skip to the end of this slide so you can listen to me discuss the answer. So on the 6th of July 1903, 60 cyclists set off. They covered 2,428 kilometres in a circular route through 6 stages. 18 days later, 21 of the original 60 cyclists made it back to the finish line in Paris. The winner was Maurice Guérin, and Le Tour de France was born. As the tour became more and more popular, the course was made longer and challenging mountain climbs were introduced. So which of the following is the best summary of the text above? The first Tour de France took place on the 6th of July 1903 and was won by Maurice Guérin. The race is longer now and has mountain climbs. The next one is the first Tour de France was much harder than today's as only 21 cyclists finished the race. The finish line was in Paris. Now it includes mountain climbs. The next one we have is the Tour de France was created in 1903 and was 2,428 kilometres long. The winner of the first race was Maurice Guérin. The Tour de France is a cycling race held in France every year. It began on the 6th of July 1903 and covered 2,428 kilometres. So the first one really has used the first sentence from the text and and parts of the text as well. The race is longer now and has mountain climbs. So this one is definitely out because it says when you're doing a summary to use your own words but don't change the meaning. And the second one too, the first two was much harder. It is a bit of a longer style summary compared to the bottom two we have here. So I'm going to say the first two are definitely out. These two are not the best summaries of this text above. One has copied the words exactly, and this one isn't really, I feel, the main points of what the text is saying, and it's too long. So now we're down to the bottom two here. The Tour de France was created in 1903 and was 2,428 kilometers long, and it mentions the first winner. The other one here says the Tour de France is a cycling race held in France every year. It began on the 6th of July in 1903 and covered 2,428 kilometres. I think we really could choose either of these. I think maybe this one here mentions that the winner of the first race. This one on the other hand mentions that the race is run every year in France. So they're quite basically the similar, but you can see that they are really only using the main points, the main facts from the text. They're quite short and they have been put into your own words. So if you chose either of the bottom two, you would be correct. All right, another strategy we can use when we are researching a topic for our informative text is paraphrasing. So paraphrasing means to present ideas and information that you have read by putting them in your own words. You are essentially summarizing another person's ideas but are changing the words so that you know they are no longer like the original version. It should be shorter and get to the point quickly. Being able to paraphrase means that you have demonstrated an understanding of the text you have read. So it's sort of basically the same thing as summarizing, but I just included summarizing and paraphrasing because it's two skills that we're developing when we will research for creating our own informative texts. So how to paraphrase and summarize? The first step is to read the text. The second step is to find out the meaning of any words you are unsure of or any parts of the text you're unsure of. The third step is to write down the main ideas in your own words, making sure to still use technical vocabulary or any dates that are relevant to the topic. And the fourth step is to check your points against the main text to ensure you have accurately recorded information. All right, let's have a look at the activity that our Years 3 and 4 students will be doing today. So you're going to write a summary of the following text that is on the next slide, and I want you that you could then use to write your own informative text with, and I want you to use paraphrasing and the sum strategy. So remember, the sum strategy is short, use your own words, and only include the main points. So this is the text you'll be looking at on spiders. You could pause the video now to complete your summary and you could write it down on your piece of paper and then maybe type it into your Google Doc or take a photo. I'm not going to read it out because that will take too long, but this is the text that the 3-4 students will be using. 5-6 students, you will also be summarizing a text and you'll be doing your text today, which is on Kathy Freeman. If you can click the link there. Same as the 3-4 students, you can either write your notes down on a piece of paper and then take a photo to show Mr. Kilpatrick, or you could write them down and then type them up. Don't forget to submit your work on Google Classroom or get a parent to check it.